So this is what happens when there are flash sales in Australia. I am going to show you just what I got in the last, I'd say 2 months or so, and what store it was at. It's all from the same shop. So let's get on with the video. Before I get into the video, I just want to let you know that the shop that I have bought this stuff from is called Riot. They are known as riotstores.com.au, I believe now, and they have actually gone to online only. They were around since 1974 and they've just closed their 56 shops around Australia and gone into liquidation, and I believe they're just getting rid of stock and trying to figure out whether it's, whether it's going to be worthwhile keeping their doors open. So that remains to be seen whether they will continue or not. Not really sure what killed the shop. I would say firstly, from going there, I would say a lot of the reason is because of their cost, and you can get a lot of the products online that they sell for a lot cheaper than what they were selling in the shop. And I can't say that I honestly went into that shop very often. I did see that their stock changed to mainly kids stuff, so I had no reason to really go in there. And as the year progressed, their stock became more and more limited, clearly because the shops were on their way to closing down. And before I go on with this video, just know that I am not sponsored or affiliated with Riot in any way, shape or form. This is all this stuff has been bought with my own money, and basically it's just me grabbing a bargain. Okay, everyone loves a bargain. So I bought these guys. They were like $3 each, and I actually thought they were a lot smaller. That's what you get when you don't read the actual fine print. Yeah, I just bought them because I liked them, and I did think they were smaller. I was going to use them for some kind of diorama or something, and then I found out that they were quite large. So this is Merle the mermaid, and this is Jack the skeleton. So yeah, that was just a bit of fun, and that was all I bought for my Halloween decorations. So yeah, that's these guys. I will say too that these aren't in any order that I bought them. I've just been doing like little orders every week or so, and everything that I bought in this haul has all been marked down significantly. Like this bad boy, this is Art Culture. Now I've never used this brand of paint. This is something that I think is exclusive, and I think a lot of the things that I'll show you today are exclusive to Riot. Let me just zoom you in a little bit. Oh, not that much. So this one is titanium white, and I go through a lot of white. Anybody that uses oil paint knows that you tend to use white to mix the other colours. And it does say that it's a rich pigment, and it says studio oil, but I'm not sure what quality it is. But because it's white, it's not really going to matter, because you generally won't use a lot of white by itself. I tend to use it as a mixer. And for the cost, I think this one was, there's probably no point in putting it back in there anyway. I think this one cost me about $5 or $6, which for that size tube, normally you'd be looking at $30 to $40 in this brand. So I was pretty happy about that. The watercolors they have are their own brand, and these little tubes here, they're only 9 mils, but I mean, you get a lot of money, you get your fair share worth out of them because they're tubes. So I'll just put them in my palette with my other ones because I've got spaces. And I got 2 colours that I actually don't have in my palette already. So that's purple red and brilliant purple. And looking at them, they're probably going to be similar to some other colours, but I thought for the price, I think I paid like $2 a tube. Again, I think they were like 80% off. And they only had limited colours. I've been keeping an eye out, see if I can find anything else that I haven't got, but they've got a very, very limited amount left of those. This is white acrylic gesso. I've used half of it already, but to be honest, it was probably one of the better kinds of gesso that I've had in a while. I actually had run out, so that's the only reason why I really bought it, because this was $8, but this usually retails for $19.99, I believe. So it's a brand called Urban Crafter, and this product is actually made in Australia, so that's nice as well. I found this to be really good, probably better than the last pot of gesso that I had, so I might even see if I've got any left, because you know, when you don't have it, it's pretty sad. So I'll keep an eye out for more of that one. Now this book, I had been chasing a watercolor book for a while, and this one came up for, I think it was $6, $5 or $6. I have had it sitting on my shelf, and as you can see, I probably shouldn't sit it like this because it has warped, and I've only had it for a couple of months, so won't do that anymore. But it is actually really good quality for the price. Now this usually retails for $25 or $24.99, and it is 5 inches or 5.9 inches by 9 inches, so it's probably a little bit bigger than A5. I'd say a fair, like probably, yeah, a little bit bigger than A5. And I've been after one for ages because I just want to put pictures into a book and not have to use bits of paper, because usually I just use the pad and I tear it out. And as you can see, like, the paper's pretty thick. It's like, I think for $5, like, it was really good. I went back to see if they had any more, and they have these now at $15. So I really got a bargain. Now they're trying to sell them for $15, and I'm like, you know, I'll wait till they go back down and I'll get it cheap. The only thing that worries me a little bit is I thought it said journal, and as you can see, there's actually a perforated line, so kind of going to have to be careful that that doesn't get too wetted out, because even with this one, look, you can see it's already starting to bend and flex, because I don't want them to rip out. Like, I didn't buy it to tear them out. I bought it so that I could have a collection or a keepsake of my own little watercolor doodling or journaling, whatever I decide to do with that. So I hope that they don't tear, but only time will tell. They are 24 pages, but I will say that looking at the paper, you can probably paint on the back. I'll let you know, you'll see in the videos whether that's possible or not, because I'm definitely going to give it a go. I like to get my money's worth. So that is the, oh, it's by Paper Mill. The brand is Paper Mill as well for that one. They had a huge sale on brushes, and some of these were sets. I think that was definitely a set. That was probably the most expensive set in the lot of them. This was about $12, I think, for this one. But these are oil, watercolor, or acrylic. So I don't know why they don't call them mixed media, but I think I bought them specifically from oil paint, because oil paints seem to be at a premium. They're quite expensive and not easy to get. So these were, I waited for these to come in and then I grabbed them. They weren't full price. I think they were like 65% off. But at that price, they are the more higher end of the thing. Definitely not the most expensive brushes you'll have on the planet, but they are relatively expensive. And I'm looking at the bristles going, do I really want to like get oil paint all over those? It's been so long since I've had oil paint brushes, new ones, that I'm a little bit like a kid with a new toy. I don't want to break it. These were singular, but I bought them as a set. These are meant for oil paint as well, but these are hog brushes, hog bristles. While I don't mind hog bristles, I do find that it's hit or miss whether the bristles will come out. I have not used them yet, so time will tell. I'm pulling at it and nothing's coming out, but you just never know. It's when you put the water or when you put the medium on and you start dragging that across the canvas or whatever, that's a real telltale sign whether it's going to last a distance or not. Generally, if a paintbrush starts shedding, I throw it out. I can't deal. The only ones that I've had do that I've hung on to were my Montmartre ones, but now that I've got other options, I'll be going through them and probably just giving them to my niece or something, because I just don't need that. You know, you get a hair in it and everyone says, oh, I just get it out when it dries, but if you've ever noticed, when it dries, well, for oil paint for a start, it's embedded. You can't get it out without chipping the paint off your painting. Watercolor, it will leave either a white line where it's soaked up the watercolor and it'll leave a white line, or it'll just really saturate that line with color and you'll have a really wiggly line there from where even when you remove it, it still looks like it's there. So to me, it's not worth it. If a brush sheds, don't use it. It's gonna just make you mental. It's just gonna drive you mad. So just don't do that. This was a set, a mixed media set, and I think I paid $6 for it. So whether these are any good or not remains to be seen. I have a few videos coming up that I don't want to spoil just yet that these will be used in because they are mixed media. Yeah, we'll see how they go. If you buy a cheap brush and it doesn't really work out, there's always something that you can do with it, like use it for glue or whatever, or just, you know, hobby crafts or whatever, something that you're making that doesn't matter. These were a watercolor set. I think they were $4. I have used them. Can't say that I'm overly fussed. I don't hate them, but at the same time I wasn't in love with them. I found they've actually grabbed the colour as well, and I can't get that colour out, which is a shame, but it doesn't affect the brush. It just, sometimes it worries me that colour pigment is bleeding over time into my other colours, but that's just me being picky. This one I bought on its own. As you can see, it's still got the finishing product in it. It's still quite stiff. Not a bad brand, not the greatest brand, but again, for just oil painting, it probably won't last, you know, that long. But for the price, it was like $3. This one was $1.49, and these are usually $5. He has not been used yet. The fine point ones, especially doing, oh, you can just see that, especially doing oil painting, I find that oil paint and the canvas, it really, yeah, it does a number on them, so they don't last very long. What's this bad boy? This is Taklon. So are these. These were Taklon as well. I haven't opened this one yet. What's this one like? Let's have a look. Oh, that's right, I bought this one. There goes the lid. That come off very easily. This one really ultra fine. So that's why I bought that. It's Taklon, so I can use that for watercolor as well as oil paint, and I tend to with the thin ones because the brushes don't hold all the gunk from the oil. They seem to clean up a lot better. Now, this is my new love for oil painting. It seems a little weird, but these little brushes are just amazing. I've just been working with one. I'm doing a cow oil painting currently. I've just got to finish it so that you guys can see it. And I really like them. I should have got more. In fact, I like this one so much, I bought this one as well, because I bought this one afterwards because I don't think they will last. I don't know if they're actually made for oil paint, but that's what I'm using them for, because the short handle as well. I really dig the short handle, so I'm going to actually try and get some more short handle brushes. So they were the same. As you can see, I've used this with dark coloured paint, and it's already taken that white off. It is kind of stiffer too now because I've been using it, but I really like it. This one is just a cheap set of synthetic hair, so they're not really anything, yeah, quite underwhelming. I'd assume that one there is going to be my least favourite out of this lot, but for hobby or glue or whatever, these ones come in handy. As you can see, there's still the stiffener in them. So acrylics, watercolor and poster paints. Would I recommend them for watercolor? Probably not. But anyway, I bought them because they were on sale for about $4 a pack, and I just grabbed them because I think, to be honest, their brushes were getting low. So I thought this is looking like it's going to be game over, so I grabbed those as well. Now, last for the brushes, these are classed as oil paint brushes, and to be perfectly honest, I haven't used them. Now, they're meant to be hog hair. See, look at this. Look, it's shedding in my hand. I'm not hopeful. They looked a lot better in the picture. Oh man, that is shedding quite badly. They looked a lot better in the picture, but now that when I got them home and unwrapped them, I'm like, oh, I really don't know. So I think these will just end up being my brushes that I'm really not kind to. You know, the ones that you're happy to stab into the canvas when you're not having a good day. See, look, maybe it will stop doing that, but I'm going to get very tired very quickly of pulling those hairs out, so they may just end up being, I don't know. I opened them up and I was a little bit near. I also got this silver leaf. It's imitation silver. I know that some of them do have real silver in them, but this is basically for what I was going to do with a video coming up, and you'll see that it's very similar to gold leafing and all that sort of stuff, and you can crush it up as well. Yeah, it's just so that you can get that real silver look rather than using a pen or whatever. But lots of fun. So I have actually 2 other packs of this that I've bought previously, not from that shop. I got them from somewhere else, and I didn't have silver. I had bronze and I had gold, and I didn't have silver, and this came up for like $5 or something, and I thought, oh well, it's there, I'll just grab it and give it a go. So we'll see what they're like. Now, as far as brushes go, I have wanted a set of these. Oh, that was my chair squeaking. I have wanted a set of these for a long time, and I've been keeping an eye on them on Amazon and stuff like that. These retail for about $50. I think it was $53 or something, and I had seen them on Amazon for about $35, and I was like, oh, I really want a set. They're just Chinese calligraphy brushes, and the handles are actually bamboo, so they're quite well made. I got these for $28, so this is my most expensive buy, but I have been wanting them for so long, and when I saw them for $28, I think it was $28, might have been a little bit less, might have been 23, reduced from 58 at the time. Now they do have them on their website still. I don't believe they're as cheap as that. I think they're $35 now. They've come down from the 50 something, but they're still saying the recommended retail was 53 or 58 or something. But yeah, I love them. As you can see, I've used these 2, and it's fluffed out a little bit, but once you just put water on it, I mean, these have got sizing still through them, and that's why they're stiff. Obviously before I use those, I'll have to soak them, which is what I did with these bad boys, and yeah, and obviously now it fluffs out of it because it's been used, but put a bit of water and they come back. It's almost like using a water injected paintbrush, because the water slowly comes down, and your medium, being watercolor in my case, gets waterier and waterier, and it's really fun. Now I'm really enjoying using them. So yeah, my most expensive, and out of all the brushes that I got, I would say that these ones are the best out of all of them. And even though they were more expensive than the others, I don't think that's really a way to compare them. I just think that the value for money for these was there more so than the other brushes that I got. So the next contestant is the watercolor ink. This is again by that brand, the Paper Mill, which I do believe is only a Riot brand. I think it's exclusive. I've used the gold, but I only used a little bit of it, and I can't really say whether they're any good or not yet. I would say that you would go through them fairly quickly because they're not very big. There's only 20 mils in there, but yeah, I'm gonna do more with them in time to come, and we'll see how they go. We've got amethyst, leaf, golden. That one's golden, which is the yellow. This one's gold, so this one's metallic. This one's the yellow. Aquamarine, magenta. Oh, okay, it'll fall down. And silver. Now the sediment, the pigment sits right on the bottom of these ones, so I'd say that it's almost like a micro powder inside. I'm not sure. I haven't opened them. It says vibrant, dye-based, translucent, matte finish, acid-free, non-toxic. They are actually made in Japan, but they are packaged in China. So interesting to see how they go, being watercolor ink. It's kind of a strange combination. A lot of people say that ink is like watercolor. I don't believe that ink is anything like watercolor in behavior. Watercolor ink, I don't even know what it is. Yeah, it doesn't even really give you any indication as to what it is. It just says use directly from the bottle, or fill any liquid brush marker, paintbrush, dropper, or mist sprayer. So I guess the thing with watercolor ink is that your your moving medium would be water, whereas with alcohol ink your moving medium is alcohol. I am intrigued. We will see how that goes. Next on the list, I got some, I had been dying to get my hands on some of this. These are, again, the paper mill, and they are alcohol ink, as you can probably read. Now, again, it says highly pigmented, indelible in water. I don't even know what that means. I think that means that they won't move in water. Permanent, transparent, acid-free, and it says dilute with a blending solution. That blending solution would be alcohol or rubbing alcohol. Use directly from the bottle or mix with blending solution, which again I'm assuming it's alcohol. The paper mill alcohol ink is highly pigmented and it dries very fast. Used on non-porous surfaces, synthetic waterproof paper for best results. A range of vibrant colours are great for a variety of techniques. I need to look into more about these. I don't really know how to do it. Generally I'll have a look at videos and then I just have a go. And most of the time I'm doing it wrong, but you know, it's all about the fun. And the colours I got was Earth, Storm, I love those names, right? Lavender, Mustard, Ruby, and Leaf. So they've been really creative there. They've actually used the same colour names as the watercolour inks. So to go with the watercolour inks, which we're just going to put over there, I also bought some synthetic paper, and this one's transparent. I again am not really clued up on this, but I'm going to have a go and I will video it, and if it's a complete disaster I will delete it. So this paper is, as you can see, it's transparent, so I guess that means you can put you know, you could do a picture underneath and then put this over the top with your watercolor, with your alcohol ink, and have a picture showing through. I don't know, but we will soon figure it out. This is again the paper mill, and it's 10 sheets, and they're saying that they are 120 GSM. A synthetic, non-absorbent and ultra smooth surface art paper for ink, watercolor and acrylic painting. So that's, yeah, I was interested in the paper, so I got that. I also, these were not cheap for considering how big they were. I think they were like $5 a pad, and the big one was $7, but I needed it because I bought the alcohol ink, so what was I going to do? Like, and this is 300, and this one's a pad of 10. They both got 10 sheets in them, and this one's 200. I think one was a little bit cheaper than the other, so I grabbed both. And these are not transparent sheets, these are just the plain, so it should be interesting to see what happens. It just says a synthetic, non-absorbent and ultra smooth surface art for paper for ink, watercolor or acrylic painting. Now I don't really understand how, if it's not absorbent, how watercolor would actually stay on there, but you know, I guess if acrylic it would, but watercolor ink possibly. I don't know. We'll investigate that further. And then the other things that I got, I did buy some things in bulk, like these. I bought these in A3 pad, and I also bought them in, I got a couple of A5. Actually my husband ordered these, and he's like, I got the wrong size. I thought, it doesn't matter, because I use A5 for a lot of things. For example, my animal oracle cards are on a piece of A5, because I'm not going to do a huge A4 when it's, you know, you can easily scan them in and make prints out of them even if they are A5, so nothing lost there. So they've got and I got the big pads of these too, where you get 5 sheets of cold pressed, 5 sheets of the hot pressed and 5 sheets of the rough. So that's the rough. You can see it is quite rough. I don't do a lot on rough. And then of course you've got your cold press, which is your standard paper for watercolor. So I got that one, and then I bought this as well. I think these were like cheap, $4 I think this was, and I bought a A3 in the same for $6. And the reason being is you always need paper, and I wanted to stock up before the shop disappeared. I live rural, so it's not a case of just running out and getting paper for me. I have to buy it off Amazon or wait till I go into town, which is 2.5 hours away. So for me to have this on hand, it's a lot better than me just letting everything run down and then not having anything to draw on. So this is, it says it's for pencil, charcoal, which is main reason why I bought it. I want to get into doing some charcoals, graphite, light washes, and collage. Now I did find that this paper was quite thick. I would not soak it. I don't believe that it would handle a lot of watercolor or a lot of water. But for charcoal, it does have a tooth. It's really hard for me to show you, but it does have a tooth. Oh, there you go, you can sort of see it there. So it may be really good for pencil work, which I don't do a lot of, but I do have some charcoal that I want to have a go at, and it may also be pretty good for oil pastels and stuff like that. So I did buy this one, and at 48 sheets at 190 GSM. It's not a high GSM class rating, but you don't really need one. Yeah, and I did buy an A3 in that as well. And then I bought this bad boy, which is 50 ivory sheets. So it's moving away from the classic white paper. It is very ivory too. Well, you probably can't even see that, but it is quite ivory. You'll have to take my word for it. There's a bit of glare from the window. And this is for exactly what it says, sketch and wash. So you can do like a little illustration, and then you can just put a little wash over it, and you could probably use ink or watercolor for that. Ultra smooth mixed media, pen, pencil, and light wash. And this would be good for ink work because it doesn't have the tooth that the mixed media pad has. That's the biggest difference. Probably the same thickness. Is it? No, this is 216 GSM, so it's a little bit thicker. So there is 50 sheets in that, and I paid, I'm trying to think what it was now. I think it was $4 or $5 for that. So that was really heavily marked down. These were marked down a long way. Otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. So yes, in saying that, this is the only sketch one I bought. I did buy an A3 in that, and I did buy a variety of sizes with this earlier. They have actually sold out, I believe, of all this paper. Well, they do have it there, but it's not on sale now. It's back to the original price. These were $5 a pad, I believe, and the bigger ones I think were $12 when we bought them, but yeah, they've gone up again now. So watercolor paper is not cheap. Let's face it, doing art isn't cheap, but when you can get a bit of a bargain and you know that you're going to use it, I think it's well worth doing that, especially if it's something that you haven't done before. Sometimes it can make a difference though. If you've used a product and you've gone, oh, this is a horrible medium, just try a different brand, because sometimes that's really all it comes down to, is that the brand. So I suggest doing that. But yeah, I hope that you have really enjoyed watching this. I was a little bit nervous about putting it up, but over the last few months, as you can see, it has been a little flash sale here and a little flash sale there, and I have built up quite a collection of goods that I will definitely be bringing to you with videos, and we can have a chat on how they perform and what I think of them. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.